morning, BNI, Robin with Annie Mac. My favorite weeks are the weeks that Kim does a pop quiz. I love Kim's pop quizzes. So, my most amazing Dawn, I said I need a topic for next week, and she said, oh, I made you a PowerPoint, which Rod is going to run. So, let's see how well everybody knows the mortgage process. Can you click through for me? All right, so true or false? Every time the Fed raises the rate, mortgage rates go up by the same amount.
No.
False. False, yeah, absolutely, it's false. So the Federal Reserve does not control mortgage interest rates. It controls how banks lend to banks. One of the things that normally happens, though, is lenders, they're way ahead of the game. We're kind of watching for hints and clues in all these meetings. So when you see the Fed is going to raise their rate on Tuesday, odds are the mortgage companies have already taken action and have raised their rate in advance of that. All right. Question 2, Rod. Oh. I need to give my pay stubs, bank statements, photo ID, and W-2s to my lender before I get approved.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's absolutely true. It's not uncommon. People say, Robin, I didn't want you to pull my credit. I don't want to give you anything. Just give me a pre-approval. Sure.
Yeah. And they want you to send them a letter so they can
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Tell me how much you make and I'll just trust you because you're a good person. So that one is absolutely false.
That's like, I am healthy.
Right. Question 3. 0 down payment means I don't need to bring any cash to closing. False. Totally false. People will say regularly, it's a VA loan, I don't need money. There are always closing costs involved. Even on loans where we can do 100% financing and amazing agents are able to get the seller to pay all the closing costs, we still tell people you need to have $2,000 to $2,500 ready before you get to the table. When you write an offer, you need to write a deposit check because I'm not taking my house off the market unless you've got some skin in the game. Want to get an appraisal, you have to pay for that. When we call Rob, Rob's not going out and sending his people on the roof in the crawl space without being paid. So that is absolutely false.
So, question, if as I'm doing some planning for clients, right, and they're like, I get a lot of clients like, I want to buy a house in the next year, year to two. Obviously, I'm going to ask them, what's your range? So, is there like a general percentage of the house cost or range that I should
for the closing costs or the down payment? Yes.
That's why I would say, do you have any money? No.
It's a very open-ended question for the down payment part. There's a lot of different programs. 0 down programs, 3.5% for FHA. We can do 3% for a first-time buyer on conventional. So it'll depend on their credit, their income. For closing costs, I tell people to be prepared for 5 to 6% of the purchase price. In the past, we could get sellers to pay that. That went away for a while because sellers had no reason to give anybody money. And we're starting to see it come back a little bit as the market is turning to be a little bit more favorable for buyers.
Okay. So if someone says, I want to buy a house in the range of $200,000 in the next 2 years, 6%, if I create a plan to save $12,000 is
for their closing costs, yes, yep, and then
whatever they want.
Exactly, depending on multiple factors, they may need 3.5% for the down payment. The more they have, the better the rate they're going to get, and the better program.
Okay, thanks.
You got it. All right. I can get a VA loan for a new home, even if I already have a VA loan on my current home. Sean is not allowed to answer.
I was like, if I got it up and it's being recorded, that was
She's only answering one she shows. All right.
So you can.
Yeah, the answer is true. VA, there's an eligibility amount that you have that can be guaranteed, and it is $647,200 right now. So very easy formula, but it's really 25% of your total loans. So if somebody has a 647.2 is the norm. If they've got a $200,000 mortgage right now, and that's what it started as, they could do another 447.2 and still had a guaranteed 100%. Could they buy an $800,000 house? Absolutely. They would just need some down payment. Okay? They can have 5 loans as long as we have enough eligibility left. One of the great tricks, though, is for a first use of a VA loan. So, you know, I can't imagine an airman in E2 being able to do this, but if you're talking to somebody who is an officer and has never used their VA entitlement, the amount of a VA loan that can be guaranteed with no down payment is unlimited. So if they want to buy $1.5 million house with VA and it's the first time using it, we can do it. I want to do it. Send them to me. So, all right, next question. USDA and VA require no down payment.
True.
Yes, correct.
Woo!
True. Yes. However, what are the closing costs going to be? 5 to 6% because there's money involved in everything we do. All right. Pictures of cash or other assets are acceptable forms of asset identification. Yeah, I figured y'all would say that. So I did have somebody say I have 10,000. I said, where is it? And he said, right here. And he sent me a picture looking in his safe with a stack of money. We have had people send us, pictures of the box that's buried in the backyard. Many years ago, I had a lady who she was going to hide stuff from her family, so she'd roll it up really small and stick it in the curtain rods. I swear to God. She said, my kids are never finding my money. Yeah, so cash is not king in the mortgage world. We can't document it. People will often say, but Robin, I worked hard for it, where I get it. The question becomes, are you gambling to get that money? Because if you're winning, you're losing. Are you standing on a corner selling drugs? Are you funding terrorism? That's where our society and our world has gotten us to when we're looking at cash these days for mortgages. So, all right, next question, Mr. Hasman.
A guy has cash, 8,000 in his mobile home, and his mobile home's burned up.
Yeah, exactly. Now you have no cash.
Now you have no cash.
Now you have no cash.
I'm wondering how much money I was throwing away when I used to flip houses, ripping curtain rods
I
down.
was like, I am going to check them
Curtain
all.
rods are key. Check them all out. Once I'm pre-approved, I can take as long as I want to find a house without needing another one.
False.
False. What we do is we consistently update documents. So if, Rob, you send me somebody and they start today and I pre-approve them, by, let's say, October, if I haven't found something, I'm going to say send me updated pay stubs and MEG statements. When the credit report expires, we're going to do it. So as long as we're consistently updating, it will remain good. But we will not send a letter if we haven't seen any of your documents since May or April. Robin, you're mean. Why can't you just trust me? Because that's my job. So, all right, what else? I can apply for and be approved for a mortgage with a co-borrower that I'm not married or related to. Can Brian and I buy a house together?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We don't care. We don't care.
As long as they qualify.
Absolutely. Yep. They'd be we can have them as a co-owner and co-borrower where we own together. Or if I don't make enough money, I can say, hey, Brian, will you be my co-signer? And we would call you a non-occupant co-borrower. You would still be on the deed, which would protect you in the event that I go belly up, because you're not just signing on a loan for something where you have no ownership. So we protect everybody in that.
So in flipping, if someone wants to flip houses and they have a partnership, me and Brian create, BNI Flip LLC, can the LLC buy the house?
So there are some lenders who will lend to an LLC. Honestly, I'm not sure if we do currently. It's just a different way of looking at the loan. For a brand new LLC, probably be a little bit trickier because you have no history, no documented income flow.
That style would be looking more like a hard money,
To get started.
The female
Yep.
baseball bats and
Yep.
super tinted windows.
37% interest.
Yeah.
37% interest, which is a little bit higher than the going rate right now.
And after 4 months, it goes up to 50.
Yeah. Rates have gotten a little bit better though, guys. All right, lenders can pre-approve me without running my credit. This one's a no-brainer. Nope, no way, no how.
But I'm good for it.
I know you are. You're good for it. You
But I've
make
been on my
$100,000. People trust Credit Karma, and they trust Experian, and they look at all of those, and they say, Robin, you're wrong. Robin, you're wrong. That's not my credit score. Credit Karma says I'm a 750. Well, our tri-merge mortgage report says you're a 630. And it's a different algorithm. There's different information pulled into those reports. History, your employment history pulled in different ways. So there's a lot of different pieces. The only true way to know what your credit score is for a mortgage is to have a mortgage company pull your credit. All right. It's okay to change jobs during the mortgage process as long as you're making more money.
No.
So the official answer, Rod, is no. However, if you get an opportunity, so Rob, let's say somebody else tries to snipe you from Cheryl and you're buying a house, as long as you talk to us and say, hey, Robin, here's the situation. Can I do it? What can we do? Here's everything. We would need to document everything. There is a way to do what's called delayed financing as well. So you get a job offer, and your job is going to start on September 1st, but you're closing on August 25th. With certain loan types, we can do that. We just can't deliver it to our investor. So there are ways. Always ask. I've had people that call me and say, Rob, my tire went flat on my car. Can I get a new tire? We don't need to know that much. We don't need to approve every single penny of your life. But things like jobs, that's a big deal.
Well, why not? I mean, if somebody gets a $20,000 a year increase, why is that bad?
Sometimes people will go from, being a barista at Starbucks and making $30,000 a year, and suddenly they get a job offer to be an RN. Okay, it doesn't make sense unless we can show that they've just finished education for that. If it's in the same career field, it's easier.
Okay.
I know nothing about how you do what you do, right? So I'm still in the financial field. Coming over there, I would be clueless. So will you pay me? Maybe. Will I be successful? God, I hope so. But as long as a job change makes sense.
So it makes sense more in the same field.
Yes, absolutely. And there are a lot of people that we're working with that are in school and they're finishing their degrees. And they do go from being a barista to being an RN. And that makes sense. We just have to show why.
Yeah.
Why
Like an RN going to be a travel nurse because travel nurses are killing it.
Travel nurses are hard loans, guys. They're
Wow.
very, very
Because
hard.
they're contracts.
They're 13-week contracts. Every contract is for a different hourly rate, very likely. They get a per diem for housing, and they get a per diem for expenses. We can't use that. So generally, the goal with that is just looking at it as if somebody was self-employed or commissioned. Normally, they want a 24-month average to be used. We did one my first loan at Annie Mac, and we had all reduction row. We knew he had 14-month history, but we documented everything to death. So yes, travel nurses, that's the way to go if you want to be a nurse, but getting it documented, again, is the way to go with that.
So I have a question that you might be able to answer, and I've never understood this. We had a lot of issues with vehicle purchases. We would have the house under contract. When we go into closing, we had one in Harrington that the gentleman, his car broke down, and he commuted at this time from Wilmington to Sussex County, so he needs a vehicle. So he replaced his vehicle, didn't let his mortgage company know, I guess, but because he bought a vehicle, they then threw his approval away and he could not finance, and we lost that sale and had to relist the house.
Here's the trick. My car, my payment, that I had, my payment was $325. Okay, it's paid off thankfully. It was $325. Did I Did that car die? Did I go buy a car with a $700 mortgage payment? It's a $700 car payment. Did I go to 11 different dealers and have 37 credit inquiries? Did it drop my credit score? So going and buying a car, there are multiple different things that can affect the mortgage. The biggest one is people go and look at cars and they go from a very good normal car to like the McMansion of cars. I have seen $1,400 car payments, guys. Why can't I buy a house? Because you should live it, I hate to say it, but your car costs more than most people's house payments are used to. I hope it's got a really big, like, fold-down mattress in the back. And people don't understand why they traded in a $300 car, bought the car that's got a $1,000 payment, and why that affects them. But that's a very good question. That is the reason why getting a new car in the middle of the process can be catastrophic. I've had many people do it. They call me and they say, oh my gosh, I had this issue. And as long as we talk through it and I give them, don't go over this dollar amount, you may not be able to get the car of your dreams today, but you're going to get the house of your dreams.
And for one instance, the buyer, their realtor, actually said, don't replace your car.
Yeah.
Rent a car until this is
Absolutely.
closed. And then...
It's easier to get a car payment after the house.
Absolutely.
Rather than get a house.
But I didn't understand that because he's now paying more a month to rent a car than he would be if he went out and replaced.
The car rental is not going to show on his credit as
Right.
consumer debt.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little bit of a sneaky way around it, but it does work.
And if he's not using the funds that he needs to close to rent the car.
Right. And not a lot of inquiries or anything like that. Car dealers are notorious for putting you through multiple things. When we bought our truck, I went in and I said, I want you to know this is what I do for a living. I understand credit. You're going to pull our credit one time, period, the end. And they did it 7. We were trying to get you a better rate. I said, I didn't ask you to get me a better rate. I was happy with the first one. So Robin we got to see a little bit of ugly Robin that day. They will just keep shopping you for either the best rate, or if you're iffy, they're just going to shop you until they find somebody who will give the loan. So car dealers are hard on mortgages. All right, any other questions?
Great job, Robin.
All right, that's all we're going to say. Thank you, Dawn, because I didn't know what I was saying. Dawn said, Robin, here's your PowerPoint. I said, okay, Robin's going to do it. So thanks, everybody.